also have a presentation from Strong Towns of Jefferson County. Thanks for being here.
Thank you.
Do you have a slideshow?
It's not necessary. Yeah, good evening. My name is Ben German. Here tonight as a longtime resident, local business owner, but someone also that deeply believes in the future of this town and of this county. I'm part of a group called Strong Towns of Jefferson County. It's a grassroots conversation that's grown out of the National Strong Towns movement, but with its own local soul. Residents, business owners, and neighbors who care about how we grow, where we invest, and what kind of place we want to leave behind. We believe that the most powerful change happens at the block level, and few blocks in Jefferson County have more potential than the 100 block of East Washington Street. The Strong Towns movement asks some very practical questions. Are we taking small, smart actions that create long-term prosperity? Are we investing in places where people already love to be? Are we building for the next generation? Just reacting to the needs of today. It's not about being flashy, it's about fiscal resilience, about choosing places and projects that pay back the community financially, culturally, and emotionally for decades. Here in Jefferson County, that might look like restoring a walkable block. It might mean repurposing beautiful historic buildings instead of chasing new construction. And it almost always means leaning into our existing strength instead of trying to compete with Loudon or Martinsburg on their terms. What we love about Charlestown is that it has a true sense of place. You can walk it. You can name the shop owners. There's texture, history, familiarity. And for those of us who spend our days there, it's not just nice, it's valuable. The 100 block sits in the very heart of that experience. It's next to businesses that are trying to grow. It's surrounded by beautiful architecture and sits at a literal crossroad between heritage and possibility. It's a rare thing to have location, character, and community all baked into one space. That's what makes this block worth getting right. So the big question becomes, what do we do with it? I think the answer lies in alignment. Alignment between what the county has said it wants in the Envision Jefferson 2035 plan, what citizens like me are asking for, and what actually makes sense economically. The county's own strategic goals talk about responsible, compact growth, historic preservation, sustainable development, a thriving local economy, and creating places where people want to live, work, and visit. The citizens, we want that too. We want to be proud of this town. We want spaces that are used, not empty. We want jobs, walkable streets, and a reason to stay invested in this community. And to be clear, this is not about sentimentality. This is about creating value, economically and culturally, by using the assets that we already have. One idea, and it's just that, an idea, is to use the 100 block for education, something that brings steady foot traffic, supports local restaurants and retail, and invests in young people. Look at Shepherd University in Shepherdstown, James Rumsey in Martinsburg, and look at what APUS meant when it was physically present in Charlestown. What if the 100 block became home to a small learning center, a school of preservation trades, hospitality, entrepreneurship, something rooted in this place? Jefferson County history, architecture, and culture, but oriented towards tomorrow's economy. These ideas don't just preserve old buildings, they give them purpose again. Now, I understand that the legal and procedural steps the county must take to dispose of these properties are complex. I also understand that it is uncertainty that repels investment, and alignment invites it. If the county and city signal a shared vision, if we say together, we want this block to matter, then serious partners will come to the table. Public-private collaboration doesn't mean giving anything away. It means sharing the risk and shaping the outcome. This block is too valuable a place to be treated just like an asset to offload. We have a chance here to make a long-term investment in Jefferson County's future. We can honor the past without getting stuck in it. We can create something uniquely ours, something rooted in place that works for businesses, residents, and for future generations. Let's not miss it.
Thank you so much. And before you go, you raised a suggestion I haven't heard a lot of discussion about before. It's really interesting. The idea was schools and education on the block. Have you had conversations with business owners, and have they expressed that they thought that would be complementary to their business and would help bring Foot traffic?
The ones that I've spoken with, yes. And my personal experience being a resident in Shepherdstown for many years, I think it's an easy place to look. I mean, you would know very well, the impact the university and its population has on that local economy.
Yeah, I mean, Shepherdstown has over a 95% occupancy rate. And I do think that is coupled with the partnership of Shepherd University and having boots on the ground, keeping the businesses strong.
And if a school is getting public funding, wouldn't that allow it to be something that could, receive public property?
Yeah, I don't know, that's interesting.
And that's a good question. So how do you move forward? As you're speaking to these business groups that work with businesses on Charlestown, you heard from our attorney that there are limitations. You can't just find the best business idea and sell it to them or give it to them. It's not an option. So instead, you have a public entity of some kind or the auction process. And we've heard from two great business entities from the Washington block. Does the auction process, can that meet their needs? Something that you need to decide, or does it have to go through a governmental entity that's not us, that has more flexibility in what they can do?
Okay.
That's a question I was going to have, but since you brought that up, if we would transfer the property to the Development Authority, is that a possibility for a private sale?
So I think you have to do it for $10 because you have to sell it to them for $10, the minimum. But you still don't have funds for building out the courthouse, so that's the other element that we talked about earlier. You can, but we have $11.5 million gap, and it doesn't close. But you could, and the Development Authority, City of Charlestown, Building Commission are all here later to talk about what they could do with it. But it's an option.
You can ask KCDA directly, they're going to present in just a second.
Yeah, they're going to present here in a minute.
Other questions for our presenter?
There's also a question about reverter. It depends on who you're giving it to. Depending on if you give it to one of the, like the volunteer fire department, the ambulance community center, or whatever like that, then the property can have a deed provision to it that it reverts back if they stop using it for that. So there's sort of a catch there. And so there's just something you can disclaim that, I think, disclaim that reverter if you want to, but
So
that's just another issue.
That's something I would ask all of these entities. How do we get from here to there, knowing that these hurdles are in place? I think it seems like everything I've heard from you, we all want this amazing, flourishing, downtown, vibrant, small business environment. How do you get there?
Okay. All right. Any more questions for our current presenter? We'll have a few more up in just a few seconds. Any more now?
Thank you, Ben.
Thank you.